Hi there. Thanks for watching this pre-recorded webinar. This is our full training session and our most comprehensive overview of shorthand. We hope you'll find it helpful. Thank you all for joining today's training session. My name is Lindsay and I'm an editorial success manager here at Shorthand. I'll be running today's training session that lasts a little over an hour with some time at the end for questions. In today's session, we're going to take a comprehensive look at shorthand. I'm going to share some great resources that are available, and we'll also take a look at the various features and capabilities within the platform through creating a short story together. So this is a great refresher for those of y'all who have already worked in the editor before, but it's also a complete overview for those of y'all who are just starting out. If you have questions at any time, please feel free to drop those in the Q&A feature. That'll help me monitor those. So Shorthand is an online editor that is used to create beautiful and engaging stories for the web. You'll use the editor to create your stories, and then you'll publish them to either the Shorthand servers, or you'll have the ability to host them directly on your own site. However you publish will depend on the plan type that you have and whether you've included any of the available publishing add-ons to your plan. So we call these shorthand stories, but you are in fact creating web pages. However, these web pages are a bit different from those that we see created with our traditional content management systems. Shorthand stories are much more immersive and interactive, and they make use of what we call scrolly telling. So this means that various visual effects can take place as your reader scrolls through your story, and these stories work seamlessly across all devices. So on top of that, you don't need to be an expert coder or really have any background in coding to put these beautiful stories together. Our editor is very intuitive and super user-friendly. Here is a look at some of the companies, nonprofits, agencies, and media outlets that are using shorthand. There's a lot of amazing content being created with this platform. We have journalists that are publishing long-form features. Media outlets are creating interactive and engaging content on current events. Educational institutions are publishing their alumni magazines or annual reports. Some are using it for teaching. And we have many nonprofits that are using shorthand to share stories about important topics and issues all over the world. If you scroll down on our homepage, you will find a bit more information, but also what we call our hero stories. So these provide some stellar examples of what's being created with shorthand and can provide inspiration as you're preparing to create your next story. So this can really show you what is achievable with shorthand. If you work for a particular industry or you already have an idea of what you'd like to create using shorthand, you can click into these different industry or topic specific use cases to find more inspiration. So for example, if I want to click into the arts and culture, we'll see a great collection of other stories that fall within this category. So you can also access that again from shorthand.com and scrolling down to the bottom, or up here from the top drop-down menu, inspiration, example stories. So again, this shows you some great featured stories, as well as the different topics that are available to you here. Additionally, you can also take a look at our blog, which can be found from Learn, the craft blog. So there's lots of useful ideas here, digital storytelling tips and how-to guides. This is also where we have our new feature announcements, so you'll want to stay looking at these available posts. And we have a lot of community activity here as well. You'll also want to be able to sign up for our craft newsletter, which is available again from Learn, the craft newsletter. This will deliver the latest blog posts, as well as our other amazing recently published shorthand stories directly to your inbox every other week. So this is a great way to see what other people are creating with shorthand. And if you create and publish a story that you're super proud of, we'd love to hear about it. It too can be featured in our newsletter and potentially even on our social channels. So you want to make sure you sign up for that here. Okay, so now the main objective of today's webinar is training on how to use shorthand. So I'm going to click over into the dashboard. This webinar is going to help you better understand what all Shorthand has to offer. We'll make sure that you have a really clear idea of all the different features and section types that you can use within the platform. We want you to feel really equipped to create these beautiful and engaging stories of your own. So when you log into Shorthand, this is what we call our dashboard. So this is where all of your stories and your collections that you create will live. If you are the owner of a workspace, basically kind of the head contact for the overall subscription, you can also toggle on the leader view here. This will allow you to see all of the stories that are created within your team, even if you don't own those stories. But again, that's just specifically for the owner of the workspace. In the top right-hand corner of this page where your initials are, you'll also be able to find out more about the workspace, about your subscription details. You can manage members from here. You can also set up your publishing options, though publishing can only be set up by an owner or an admin. So depending on kind of what your settings are within the editor, some of these things may not be accessible by you. But from your dashboard, there's a lot of different things we can do here. So we can add team members. Everybody can do this by clicking the plus sign. You can either include members by adding their first and last name and an email address. Or if you want to add them to an individual story, you can select your story from the little three dots here. We can include a collaborator. And so if people have already been added to our workspace, our dashboard, we'll see them available to us here. And you'll simply just click the plus sign. And now my colleague Paul can be a viewer of my story. I can set him as an editor of the story, or I can also switch it to make him the owner of the story by simply just changing that icon. So now when I've added him to my story, you'll see here that me and Paul both have access to this story, and we'll both see this when we log into our dashboard. If at any point you want to remove that collaborator, you follow the same rules, click into collaborators, and then just remove him from that story. Additionally, we can sort all of our stories by a number of different ways. So maybe you're looking for stories created by you or another member of the team. You can sort by owner. So again, all of the people that are in my workspace, I'll be able to select specifically to see what stories they've created or just the ones I've created. Additionally, you can sort by stories that have already been published, or maybe they're still in draft mode by clicking the status. You can also sort by most recently edited. You can sort by title. And then another thing I wanted to note from the dashboard, which will become really useful once you start creating more and more stories here, is making a copy of your story. So we can click again the three little dots. We can click copy. And this will create an exact duplicate of the story by simply clicking copy. So now you'll see that there's two of them here, one of which with copy in the title. And that's how you can differentiate those. So maybe you've created a story that you really love and you don't want to recreate it each time. You just want to swap out the content and the images and the copy. You can just make a copy of it. So this is also a really great way to create maybe a template that you want your team to be able to use. And a way to note that would be clicking this little green add note. Maybe we want it to be template copy only. We can add that note in, or maybe this says ready for review, what have you. This is a great way to differentiate your stories. And another option we have here is to add a tag. So maybe we're working on a digital magazine and we have a feature article. So we're going to tag it as such, so that you can see here is a feature article. Maybe this one's a feature article too. Let's go ahead and tag that. So that if we want, we can filter by our tags. So maybe again, for this magazine, we want to see how many of our feature articles are in draft mode, how many of them have been published and are ready to use. But this is a great way to quickly sort all of the different material within your dashboard. Another thing I will say here, if you log into your dashboard and all of a sudden it doesn't look like all of your stories are there, or there's no stories there all of a sudden, it's very possible that you have some filter on up here. So you'll just want to go close those out and make sure that it's back to its kind of basics, and you'll see that everything comes back. So don't fear, it's there. So I would start there. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at how to create stories. Now that you kind of got a lay of the dashboard, let's go ahead and build a story. So what I'm going to do is click this new story button here. Basically, it will give us the option to create a blank story, or you can pick from one of our available templates here. Mostly these templates are like how-tos. They'll kind of show you different ways you can lay out your stories. So they are kind of nice to kind of get a feel for what a story might look like. But honestly, we recommend starting with a blank story because that gives you the most control over how you want your story to look and feel and how you want your reader to navigate through your piece. So we're going to click into this blank story. And we'll see that when we open our story, already in place is a title section. So this is the default starting section. When you're ready to add other section types, you simply click this green Add Section button here in the left-hand menu. And then you'll see all of the available options for the different section types that you can use. So what's available here might look slightly different depending on your plan. The only difference would be that when you're on a Prime plan, you don't have this custom HTML section, but otherwise you should have all of these different available sections to you. So we're going to start off back here with the title section. This is very similar to one of the other sections that we offer called the text over media section, which is simply just large text over a background image or video, depending on which you choose to upload. So if you want to include a video, we can click into this edit background media, and you can see we can include an image or a video. And we could also make use of the new feature, this 3D image, which is really cool here. So basically what you'll do is you'll upload your image of choice, and then the tool will render it in a 3D way. So we're gonna do a video today though. So basically what I'll do is I will drag my video file and upload it here. And you'll see that what's available to me. And also these are always available to you here, the available sizing. So on both the image and video, you can see the recommended sizing, which is always worth noting. So we'll save that, but we can also include a caption here if we'd like. Oops. So basically, it auto-populates for the mobile view, as you saw there. But if I wanted this to be something shorter, maybe for smaller screens, I can override that here as well. So we're going to save those changes. Background video and shorthand is going to play on loop. It will play with no sound, and it will, again, play in the background of your image. So as you can see here, we have some text fields over top that we can adjust as well. So maybe I want to change my title. I can also change the sizing and the styling. So right now it's at paragraph. We have a couple different headings, small, medium, and large. And then we have a regular heading title. And then we can also use a couple different block quotes and different things that I'll show you in another section. But from here, I'm going to increase the sizing. I can also change the font if I'd like. And using this green formatting menu, I can change things like make it bold, italicized, underline. I can strike through or include a sub or superscript. Can also hyperlink your text or include an annotation. And I can change the text color. Additionally, I can change the alignment, or I can change the entire location of the fields themselves by adjusting the arrows here, the green arrows to left, up, down, right, or left. Again, here at the bottom is another kind of feature field for text. It auto-populates with the author's name, but you could include anything you wanted here. Maybe you want to include like a scroll down instructional prompt, a date, maybe a date stamp, or updated, on this date. Or if you don't want it, you can just delete it. You'll see that there is still some of that ghost text there that just shows you that it's available. But that will not be visible once you've published your story if you leave it blank. So again, from here, I want to just show you one final thing. In the edit background media, you can always find information on the media guide. So this will show you more information about this specific section. And also shows you always, again, the media guidelines, which you'll want to be really cognizant of, both for the images and the video. So this is populating what we call our knowledge base. So this is all of our support documents. So then the other option would be to click this question mark here, and we can search for safe areas or whatever, honestly, whatever you're looking for here, the relevant support documents will populate, and you can click into those and navigate these support documents from right within the editor. So this is going to be really helpful while you're trying to, get things figured out, or if you need a reminder of something, this is a great place to do that. Okay, and then we're going to take a look at the next section. We can insert a text section. So this is a single column of text, either in the center, left, or right-hand side of your page. You can adjust that there. On a desktop, you can also opt to add another column of text if you wish. So you could have a 2-column text section. You could also add a column of images, which turns it into a different type of section called our scrollmation section, but we will take a look at that one here in a little bit. So I'm going to leave my 1 column of text here in the center. Within the text columns, you'll be able to include images, foreground video, which is different from the background video in that it'll be a video in line with your text that has a play button on it so that it can be played with sound, but it will require the reader to click the play button before it works. So we'll take a look at some of the options here. These are identical to what we just looked at up in the title section, but I'll show you some of those others that we kind of skipped over here. So again, we could make it a neat heading. There's all kinds of different options there, different styling. We could also maybe make it a quote. So you click that block quote, which is kind of unique. Maybe we want to include a drop cap. So that first letter, capital letter of your paragraph will have a drop cap. Let's see. Oh, each paragraph. You can undo that if you wish by just clicking back to paragraph. You can include numbers, a numbered list, or a bulleted list. You can also do an indentation, or I also like the breakout, which will put a block around your text. And then again, you can also easily use that same formatting menu here. Maybe I want to call out part of my text and change the color, what have you. Those are available to you as well. Additionally, as I mentioned, there's a couple different things you can add in line here. So we can insert media, rich embed, which I will show you here in a second. We can also include a button, maybe a call to action button like donate or read more. I can include a divider. Let's go ahead and insert a divider here so you can see that. You can adjust the sizing of your divider and the color of your divider to whatever you prefer. Or you can delete it out again if you don't want it. We can also include spacing. So for example, if I were to click enter here of these blank paragraph texts, those won't show in my final story. The editor thinks that was just basically an accident, that additional, line of text left blank. So if I wanted to add some space between, say, my paragraph and an asset of some kind, I want to insert a spacer. So this is that kind of non-breaking space in your story. And again, you can adjust the sizing of this or remove it entirely if you'd like. Additionally, you can add in a table, which is really cool. And from Pro and Premium plans, you can insert a custom HTML here as well. So let's go back and take a look at the rich embed. So basically when I click the insert media, it will include this rich embed. If you know that's what you want, we offer it here too, but we'll go ahead and click the insert media and show you that you can insert an image. We can insert an inline video from here, or we can insert this rich embed. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a link from YouTube and just paste it in here. And so now this is going to add a video directly into my story for me. Again, that will have that play button right available for you. So, and then let's take a look once more also at the add a button.
so you can see what that looks like. Again, we can change the color, we can change the sizing, and you can change the location, alignment of it, or delete it. And then when you're ready to edit it, you click into it and change your title. So I'm going to copy the link for our knowledge base, which also lives as its own source outside of the tool, but as I mentioned earlier, is available from within the tool. I can add it here in my button. I do always recommend that y'all set it to open in a new window, unless there is, a need to keep your reader moving in succession from page to page. I like to open a new window so they don't move away from your main story, but that's a great option there. So when we include it, now we have a button right in our story. So that is pretty cool. And then I want to show you really quickly what we also call is our navigation bar. So if I wanted to maybe have this show up in the top of my story, I can check this add to nav box. You'll see that it populated there with a little 2 because that's section number 2. But I want to tell you like what these sections are so we can take a closer look at them here in a little bit. But that's kind of a neat way so that you can click to this and it'll take your reader right to that section within your story. If you decide you no longer want it, all you got to do is uncheck it and it won't be there anymore. But really cool option there. So next we're going to take a look at the background scrollmation section here. This is where you can have a text column, again, either on the left, center, or right-hand side. Just simply move it like that, but then you can upload images that are in the full background. So it's a pretty unique way of having that full background experience. If you add more than one image, those images will change as you scroll. And how fast those images change will depend on how much text you have and how many images you use. So less text results in a faster scroll rate, and more text will be a slower scroll rate. So we'll go ahead and add that to the navigation too. And then we'll go ahead and add in another scrollmation, but this is just the basic scrollmation. So this is similar to the background scrollmation section, except this time you have just 2 separate columns. So one for text and one for images, but you'll see that as you scroll, those images too will change. So on mobile devices, you can feature the images either at the top of the screen, which is default. It'll just pin your images to the top. Or you can insert them in lines. So depending on what images you use here, we can use this little insert scrollmation inline and select from our images and put them directly where we want them in the story. So that's kind of helpful too, to tailor your mobile experience. So again, this will not show up in your final story. It'll just show where that image is going to show up when you view from mobile. So add this one to our navigation too. And so while we're here, I also want to show you an option that's available on every section, which is this cog. It's the section options. So you can click it right here in the section, or again here from the left-hand menu. But basically the section options provide us with some additional features that are available for that section. So maybe if I wanted this section to be viewable solely on mobile device, I could mark it as such, or I could do the desktop version only. I can also change the background of this section as either light, dark, or I can select my own colors here. So right now this is populating with what is available in the theme that I'm using, but I can also add additional colors by clicking this little plus sign and typing either my hex code or RGBA or HSLA, which I have not heard of before, but that is available to you as well. And you can apply your color and it will just be saved here. So I'm going to apply it so you can see, and now it's going to add it here into the bottom for me. That's a little much, so we'll go back to a light color, but just so you can see that that's available to you as well. So next, we're going to go ahead and go back to this text over media, because I really love this section. It's pretty straightforward in that, again, it's just big text over background media, which that can either be, again, the image, a video, or that 3D image. So we'll go ahead and include video here. So again, that's going to play in the background. on loop with no sound. So this is one of my favorites for like different title headings. I think it really brings your story to life to have some movement if you do have background media like this. But there's a couple different things we can do with it here. So if we go into the section options, you'll see that there's a few other things available to us here. So if I wanted this to look a little bit different, I can change the layout to either half width or full width, which again, I think is super cool. And then we can play with the height at full width. So maybe I want to see how long that piece looks now. We can pull that 150 height, a regular full height. We can make it half height, which again makes it a bit smaller, or all the way down to third height. So again, for titles, I found that this is a really neat way to kind of break up your media, or excuse me, your copy, by having some movement here. So we'll keep it, I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it at the full height, but we could also play with the overlay, either light or dark, or again, that custom color. We can adjust the overlay opacity and also the styling of our overlay. You can also set text effects. So maybe if we wanted our text to fade in or fade out, we can set those here as well, which is kind of a neat feature. So we'll go ahead and set that. And then finally, the option to have your background scroll with the text. So see how it stays together as one piece scrolling. Or we can set the background media to be pinned so that the text scrolls over top. Again, I think that's a really neat effect. So we will take a look at this again here in a second once we take it out to preview. All right, and then the next one we're going to look at is the reveal section. This is one of my favorite sections. It can really do a lot with little. So in this example, it's kind of black and white to color, or maybe it's a before and after. So there's a couple of different options available to you here. So basically what you'll do is you'll click this edit background media. You'll see that there's already 3 images put in this section for you as an example, but you can delete all of those images when you want. So we're going to go ahead and do that today. I'm going to take a slightly more simplified version for us. So I'm going to delete all of the ones that are here. And I'm going to take 2 of my images and drag them in. I think reveal are really fun for like before and after. They're really fun for kind of revealing layered effect on your graphics or your infographics. It's kind of a neat way to highlight various parts of an image. In this case, we're going to do kind of that before and after, but I want them in a different order. I want it to be daylight, and then I want nighttime to fall on the city. So to move these, I'll just hover over the 3 lines, click and drag to reorder. You'll see that it kind of changed my transition, but to update those, you can click into that button. We can set it to fade. We can have it transition down or up, left or right. So again, kind of depending on your assets and what you're wanting to do, you might play around with the available transitions. As I mentioned, I want this to look like night is falling on the city, which actually, yeah, I think this is right. So we will mark that as done. I'm going to add it to the top and put it here. And then I'm going to add one more section just for buffer. And then we're going to go ahead and take this as an opportunity to look out at a preview. So up here in the top, you have a green button that says preview. If you click that, it'll auto default to this desktop view of your story. So we'll go ahead and take a quick scroll through so you can kind of see what we've created and how this will look. So see, that's that spacer that we included to make sure that that's available. Otherwise, it would just look kind of like this basic cushion that we have. You can see the background scrollmation, which changes as we scroll. Similar with the regular scrollmation. This cool break for our text and our title. And then here is our reveal. Yes, so it does look like night is falling on it. Love it. And then again, just text. So we can close out of that. We can also take a look at our story from different devices. So from the drop down, you can look at it from a phone and different orientations or a tablet. So click into that. I will say this took me a second to remember. When you view it from a different device, You have to remember to click return to editor. I always click out of it thinking it's just a preview, and then I've clicked myself out of the tool. So in this case, remember to return to your editor, you'll want to click return to editor. But again, we always suggest that you take a look and notice here, it says Paris because we're viewing it from the mobile, and I had updated that caption to be shorter. So on the desktop, it would have said Paris time lapse, but here it just says Paris. So we can kind of see like the styling of our story when viewed from mobile, which look at this here. So the background scrollmation isn't quite ideal for this because I've just lost all of my cool background images. But we were able to insert images inline, with this scrollmation version. So maybe we want to tailor this so that, we create one section this way and one the other, and assign one to desktop and one to mobile. We'll take a look at that now. But again, pretty neat that we can just rotate it and see it from a number of different views. So in this case, you'll notice that tablet is more closely related to the mobile view of a story than a desktop view. So again, you'll just want to double check that things are rendering the way that you want them to before, publishing your story and sharing it with the audience. So we're going to, again, reminder, click return to editor, take us back to our story. And I'm going to go back here and we're going to circle back to this background scrollmation. So as I noted, I think this looks much better on a desktop view. So I'm going to go back into that section options, and I'm going to mark this as visible only on desktop. Okay, because this is the way I want it seen on desktop. And actually maybe for this example, I'm going to switch out my media so that we can see the difference and see why. So I'm going to select a few. I'm going to, again, delete all of these, and I'm going to drop in a few of my own for us. So I'm going to drag them, drop them here. It's going to take them a little while to load, which you'll see that green loading note there. And once they're all accounted for, you will be able to view them from your preview. What I'll also note here is if you want to edit the media, you can click into it here, which would allow you, again, to, if you want a desktop view of your media or a mobile view of your media, you can come in and make those choices specifically here. So now that we have them here, we're going to come back down here to the regular scrollmation into the section options. I'm going to make this my mobile version of that previous background scrollmation section. So I'm setting it to mobile. I'm going to edit the media. I'm going to delete all of these and pull those same 4 images in, drag them here. And then we will take one more quick preview of the story. I'm going to wait for that to load a second. Okay, so now we are going to preview the story on the phone again. And we will notice that our navigation menu has become a hamburger version. And we'll notice that our background scrollmation option isn't even there because we set it to be viewable only on desktops. And so what we're going to look at now is what the scrollmation looks like, which, as I mentioned, the default is to have all the images pinned to the top, and they'll change as we scroll. But again, that option to put them in line with your media is available as well, in line with your text, excuse me. But if we click over to desktop, we'll see that the regular scrollmation is gone. Now we only have the background scrollmation, so we can see all of those beautiful images change in full screen. So that's just a little note for creating your stories to make sure that they're both, the most conducive to whichever screen they will be viewed on. So let's scroll down. We're going to add another section. We're going to take a look at the grid section. So this is a really neat, and one of our newest sections. This allows you to insert these grid pieces up to 4 per row. You can also add more rows, and you can delete out pieces if you'd like. So I think it looks really nice sometimes with these 2 next to each other, kind of as like a feature article or maybe a profile of some kind. Honestly, I also think it looks kind of cool by itself because it kind of changes the dynamic or the layout. You can also adjust the location of the column here. But again, you can use all the same text settings as before. We can even insert inline media, the rich embed buttons, what have you. Everything that was available in the text fields before are available to you here. So this again might be a nice way to include like an article with a read more section or a different story that you want to direct people to, or another resource of some kind. And then you will always be able to edit the media that populates in here by clicking that edit media button here. You can also click this crop to shape, which would let you choose your preferred shape, which is a pretty neat option as well. Add that one to our navigation. Okay. Next, we're going to look at scroll points. This is a really fascinating section that we have as well. It lets you upload one high resolution image and then set and scroll to various points on the image. So maybe you want to focus on various points or highlight some, component of the image. You can set and scroll to those. So I was leading a training the other day and someone mentioned that sometimes this gets a little tricky. One of my tips and tricks here is when you click into the reorder scroll points, which is available to you here. And then maybe, so the first one by default is the full view of the image. The next one will be that first point that's selected. And so what I would do is maybe if you want to delete out all the other options here, once we've uploaded our own image, what I would do is make a copy of that scroll point. So once I've set the sizing of the point that I want and I make a copy of it, it's going to add it to my list here. And then I can come over here, click into it, sorry, come over here, click edit the area. Then I know this sizing is going to be the same consistently. So maybe then I'm ready to move it over here. So again, instead of like creating a brand new point every time, I would suggest copying the last point and moving that then to your next location, if that makes sense. So you can have an outline to highlight your point. You can change the color of that point. You can turn that line off if you don't want anything. You just kind of want to guide to that area of the image. You can also turn on a marker, which, oops, there you go, is a little spot, which again, you can also change the color of, or you can delete the point if you didn't really love where it ended up being. So those are options available to you there. One of my favorite uses of this is also like images of people, and then using this text field to kind of provide some background context for that person or for that part of your image. Again, you will also want to make sure you test this section for mobile devices. So sometimes, the scrolling and the image may not be as conducive to your mobile. So if that's the case, again, you might set this to be viewable only on the desktop as we did earlier, or create kind of an alternate view for your mobile device. Next, we're going to take a look at the media gallery. So this allows you to feature multiple images and or video together. You'll be able to click into the component of the gallery and it'll open up so that the reader can click through the media at full screen. So when you add an extra other media or other rows, the rest of the pieces will kind of adjust accordingly. So you kind of want to play with that and make sure, whatever works best for the styling of your images is available. You can, again, go up to 4 per row, similar to the grids, and you can adjust however many rows that you'd like. As I mentioned too, you can also include media in this gallery as well. So let's go ahead and click into here. I'm going to use just this default media so we can take a look at it. It'll be background media, background video when it's first viewed by default. But when you click into it, it'll open up into full screen and become that foreground video, which would allow you to have a play button on it. So it's a little bit of both video options here, which is a little tricky, but again, a really unique feature. And then at this point too, I want to take a chance to show y'all a really awesome integration within Shorthand. Anywhere that you can edit the media, you'll click into that green, again, edit media panel. You can upload your own images by just dragging them here or uploading them from your computer, or you can click into this browse free images. So this then takes you to our really amazing in-tool integration with Unsplash. So this affords you access to tons of free images. So you can search using, one of these available topics or subjects, or you can search specifically for whatever you're looking for. And then from there, you can even search by, further by landscape, portrait, square. We can maybe find a color specific image or by relevance. So there's all kinds of cool options here. So I'll just click into, how about this one? So when I insert that image, what I love also is that it auto defaults with your captions, so the photographer, and it includes alt text as well, which is really great for accessibility purposes. If someone is using a screen reader, and for some reason aren't able to see or access the image, then they will have this available to tell them what is in that location. So you can save those changes, and now you'll see that we have a beautiful image in place. Gonna add the media section, which is foreground video. So it'd be either a large video with a play button on it, or it'll just be a full screen image. The beauty of this section, though, is that it always maintains its aspect ratio, no matter which device it's viewed on. So it'll auto adjust to the screen that you're using. So we can also include those rich embeds again. So if I want to include image or a video, or again, maybe I want a YouTube video here, or maybe I've created some cool graphic on Tableau, or maybe I want like a huge, awesome Instagram post or what have you. We can just drop that link in here. So that's a really unique feature for us as well. Okay, and then we're going to take a look at the last complete section, which is the HTML section. Again, this is only available on Pro or Premium plans, but within this section, you can add, whatever custom HTML you might want. You can add third-party tools or existing code from your website. Maybe you have like a newsletter or email sign up. This would be a great place to include that. Oh, I was also talking to someone for including Google Maps. This is a good way to do that. You can also use things like Infogram or again, Tableau to insert, those moving quotes or data visualizations in here as well. We're going to go ahead and just, again, I would use rich embed to do this, but for the sake of an example, we're going to insert the code from here. So I can click embed tweet. And I'm going to grab this code again for an example. Ideally, you would just grab the regular link for the tweet itself and then insert it, but we're going to take a look at it here just so you can see. So what's interesting about this section is that it's always going to look like raw code within your story, but once you take it out to preview, we will see that it generates with the final piece, the final asset. So let's go ahead and take a preview. And we're going to click straight down to the HTML so we can jump over all of this stuff. And now you'll see that there is my tweet, which is really cool. And you can click to it here. And again, it'll take us right out to that page. So again, it can be inserted using custom HTML, but it can also be inserted inline as rich embed. So one more check at that. Again, from here, click rich embed, and you would just paste the link to your tweet here. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the collection section, which will be built from your dashboard. So you'd have to go back out of your story and create a collection of stories or other relevant materials. So this is a great way to create like an onward journey for your readers. You can group together several stories that you've created or other external URL, sort of like a read more section, or maybe you want them to, go take a look at your newsletters or your, calendar of events, it's a great way to add that collection of materials to the end of your story. So in this case, I have a few available to me. So I will go ahead and include that here. And you'll see that it creates this little collection for us that, again, are hyperlinked to external URLs. And if we click into it, it'll take us to those other places. Again, just like every other section, we can click into the cog and see what different options are available to us. The beauty of the collection section also is that there's a default style for the way it looks, but we can also do a list style or a grid style and adjust that as well. So again, you might want to play around with the different styles available, and again, all of the different section options for each section. So definitely take a look at those. Add that. And now we'll see that all of our sections are available here in our navigation bar. And then if we click add another section, we can see our section count here. So we do set a section limit of 25. We recommend that you stick to this maximum of 25 sections as it's been tested, and we found that stories tend to perform best within this length. So they don't have to be all the way up to 25 sections, but ideally they won't really surpass 25. It's better for both your performance of your story and your reader engagement. And yeah, if you find that you're maybe creating a more complex story with more chapters and you are getting close to your 25 limit, then I would definitely suggest creating like a main story or almost like a landing page or home page. And then linking out to your other resources or your other stories by, again, using those collections, maybe using the grids, or even using buttons and hyperlinking your text to take your readers to other locations so that it's not just one really, really long scroll. Okay, so that was an overview of all of the sections. As you see, there is quite a lot available to you here. I hope that you're feeling a little bit more comfortable with what all is available to you. Okay, a few other things before we kind of open it up to questions, and well, actually I have a few other resources to show you. But first, okay, from here, from your menu, you can also change the theme. So you can click into this menu. There are 2 themes that are available to all Shorthand users across all plans, which is the Shorthand Basic or Shorthand Blue theme. If you are on a Pro or Premium plan, during your onboarding, you will also have the opportunity to fill in a theme creation form. So this will let you include your own logo, fonts, and color details. And that way you would have a custom branded theme that would be available from this dropdown, and you can just add it to all of the stories that you create. But if at any point you decided you want to switch the theme, you don't actually have to recreate the story. All you got to do is click apply, and it's going to change everything. So let's take this out really quick to a preview. That way you can kind of see the styling. So the fonts changed a bit. The styling of our headers have changed, the block quote, the drop cap. Again, some of the different stylings have changed, the backgrounds on our background scrollmation. So that's what's really cool about this, is that you can definitely play around with the different stylings of the 2 available themes. And again, on Pro and Premium, have access to your own theme styling. Additionally, you also have the access to the header, which is again all the way at the top. So because we switched it over, the theme, this blue theme, makes the header that black, but I'm going to switch it back to this one because white is a little bit easier for us to see right here. We can add a logo at any point by clicking this button, inserting a logo file here. You can also hide the Shorthand logo if you don't want it. Again, if you create your own custom branded theme, we will remove our logo and we'll replace it with yours. As all the other sections have, we also have the options for your header, so you can hide the header entirely. This is useful if you're planning to embed your stories directly onto your own site, and maybe you already kind of have your own header on your website. You don't necessarily want another branded header, so you can turn it off. You can, again, turn that logo back on, and we can also change like the colors of the header if we want. Maybe this story lends itself to this really great peach color. to match, yeah, my title. I like that. So again, a couple options you can do there. Maybe if you have, well, actually it's too light. I don't really like it because you can't see my navigation bar now. But again, all of these different options are available to you. Maybe I'm like, oh, I don't want that. How do I change it? You can also come up here and click undo, and it'll go back as far as your current session. So you can undo and redo all of the changes that you have made within that session. So you can't undo or redo something that someone else on the team has made. And as soon as you navigate away from the story, that undo redo starts over. So you'll want to be cognizant of that, but it is helpful when you are working in the editor for a while and want to make a change back to what it was. So then we also have the settings menu here. So this is what you would have seen on your story if it was being searched from Google. This will pull the title by default and the subtitle as the description. You can include the authors or add tags and keywords. Additionally, you can add your own Google Analytics ID here. Again, to kind of keep going back to that theme, that custom branded theme, if you are on a pro or premium plan and you have your own analytics that you'd like to include, it can be included in the theme so that every story using your theme will auto-generate the analytics tag and you don't have to remember to include it. So that's very lovely too. And then up in the social menu, this is where you can determine how your social card will generate. So from this menu, you can configure the social sharing buttons, which live up here in the header. You can update what you would like those to look like and what links those will go to. So that's a neat menu you'll want to make sure you check out as well. And then if you are on a pro or premium plan, you also have the developer tools. So these allow you to add custom CSS or custom JavaScript, so you can make those extra customizations to your story. Again, we do pride ourselves on being no code necessary. I am not good at code myself. So, you don't need to be good at code to make the most of this platform. But if you do have questions, we have a great technical team that can help with that as well. And hopefully answer the questions you might find yourself needing. But at the end of the day, when you are putting coding into a story that's outside of what's already available within the platform, that testing does reside with you and your team. Okay, I have a few more resources I want to take you to really quickly. We're going to go back to shorthand.com and we're going to click Learn and we're going to click Help Docs. So I noted this a couple different places within the editor, but it's also available here as a website of its own. So this is our extensive knowledge base that is truly going to be your greatest asset, both as you're getting the lay of the land and even as a veteran user of the tool, because from here you can see specific section guides, you can get story planning tips. Maybe you want some more on like how-tos or more on the analytics and best practices. Again, it's so helpful here. And all you'll have to do is essentially search for what you're looking for. So maybe if you are interested in planning your story, you can click story planning. And you'll see that, again, it populates with some great assets already. So we can have story planning tips. Maybe we want to check the checklist for planning our story. And then, again, other kind of related materials here. So you might find these very helpful. Okay, and then finally, before we open it up to questions, I would love to show a few examples so that you can see some of the features that we just discussed out in the wild. So one of my favorites is this one by Emory. They have made great use of their navigation bar. They've also made great use of that background video that we were talking about as their kind of title sections. Again, what I love most about background video is it brings your story to life, right? Like I'm seeing these people work on whatever it is I'm about to start telling them about. So it's not all just static, it's alive. And then they've also made a really great use of the reveal section here. So it's a layered effect where now we have this super cool quote. Like it could have just been a picture of her, with her quote next to her, but no, that's way cooler. And it happens as we scroll. So again, nobody needs to do anything except for scroll through your story and just see the magic happen. So that one, I love that one. Another great one is this by Penguin. So again, made great use of their navigation bar. I did have someone recently ask, does the navigation bar have to be below the header? So if you are able, if your plan does include the custom branded theme, you will have the option to either do the navigation bar up top in the header like that, or below the header. So definitely worth something worth noting when you are filling that out. But again, so this is a text over media section like we did, just no text. So they deleted it out. There was probably that little, ghost text, but they've pinned the image in the background so that it scrolls over top, which I think is really cool. They've also made use of hyperlinking their images, which is neat too. So if we click to this, it will take us out to a resource for this specific book. And it changes. So this is that regular scrollmation. So we have the text and the images in two different columns. Again, the text over media section is a neat way to do those kind of pull quotes. And again, that neat ability to have your images change as you scroll. Another we have is Shark Week. This is by Texas Sea Grant. It's a really great use of the scroll points, which I love. So we're going to look at this shark up close. I love it. I think this is so lovely and so well done. And again, providing additional context of each piece that they're showcasing. And then panning back out here at the end. And then they've also used the grid section in a really unique way. So they have these little infographics that they've uploaded as the images, and then essentially just included the title and a little bit more on what that means, what those are. So again, a super neat way of showcasing their material. And then this is a text over media section at the half width, which is also a really unique option, especially if you alternate the location. So you can see now that it's kind of switching between different neat images and text. Super simple, but super cool. And then again, they've made use of that rich embed full screen with the YouTube video. And then I wanted to show you this example because they've used some third-party tools such as Tableau to insert some other materials directly into their stories. Again, that would be, so this is sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to draw attention to this really neat background scrollmation. So these are full-size background images. It's one that starts limited. We added a little bit more. We added a little bit more. So again, it's growing in the background of your text, which is really unique. And then you'll see that they've inserted, this is probably a reveal section where they've kind of again layered upon the images. And then we scroll a little further down and you'll see that here is that graphic, that Tableau graphic that is interactive. It was not built with shorthand, but you are able to just super easily grab the link of your Tableau asset and then rich embed right in line with your copy. So pretty cool. And then finally, I want to show you an example of a story that uses only a title section and all the rest of the sections are collections. So again, this is a title section at half width. And then this is one style of their collection. This is the second style of the collection sections. And then finally, the third list style. So super cool. If you're creating, again, a magazine or a landing page of some kind, this is a really unique way to do it. Again, all of these, click into them and they take you out to another story. So that is what I have for you today. Are there any questions or anything that I can show you? Let's see, what other questions? This will sound newbie-ish. No trouble at all. Shorthand is really just one page and you can't link multiple shorthand pages like a regular website with multiple pages. Okay, so you absolutely can. it starts as one page, right? So let's go back to the dashboard. Let's say we've created all of our stories here and we've published them, and we want to create a collection of stories. We can create each individual shorthand story that we've created and published and add them in a collection, so that when we create, maybe we create one that specifically, oh, that's saved even though I didn't add anything to it. Again, we'll go back into our story so you can see, once we want to add a collection, we can link out to these additional stories. So on the dashboard, I'll create a collection and I'll title it, read more, for example, and it will be linked to 3 other shorthand articles I've created. Then I can add them into my story. And then once I click to this, it'll take me to that other shorthand story. So I hope that kind of answers that question. Again, there's a couple of different ways you can link out to other resources as well. Maybe you want to include a button here and link out to another shorthand story. Maybe it says like, read more about whatever your topic is. And I could link this button to a shorthand story or to another resource. Maybe I want to link it to that, shorthand blog of ours, so I can update it. And then when I click this button, it's going to take me to that other link, whatever link that is. So yeah, I can absolutely link to multiple shorthand stories and or other resources. But you'll see here, so this is a published story, right? We didn't unpublish it. We went ahead and published it, but we've added things to it. We've changed it. We have this note up here in the left-hand corner that says there's unpublished changes. We will also see that on our dashboard here, so that we know, like, changes have been made to this story, but it's published, so you might want to update it. The beauty of shorthand is when you click republish and you click republish again, it's going to update this exact link. So wherever this link has been distributed, no matter who has it, it will be updated in real time with the changes that you've made. All you have to do is click republish. And again, you note here that it's told you when it was last republished. So we'll click republish, and now all of our updates will be made on this exact same link. So that's worth noting too. But yeah, great questions. Do we have anything else? Let's see. Does it only click to other shorthand stories? Okay, yep, we can link to other resources as well. In your dashboard, can you folder your drafts? Yeah, so this is what we'll do. Back from the dashboard, you sort by status and click draft. And I have a lot of drafts in mine, so sorry that wasn't very obvious that it changed much, but yeah, these are just all the draft ones. And we have that one published one now, so we can quickly see what's already published. But yeah, that's a great question. Is there a good way to feature an existing article on a website? Yeah. So let's go back. Let's go back into our story that we've created today. I'm gonna do that for you. Add a new section. I think grid is cool, or maybe you want to do a 2-story collection, but let's test it as a grid. Maybe I want to link out. So maybe let's say, let's play with the Unsplash too. I love this. I could look at this stuff for days. So let's say there's a parade happening. I'm going to insert that. Maybe it's going to take a long time. Okay, so I'm going to update whatever lead image that you want for your current article, Casey. So whatever that might be, you can upload that here. And then you can also hyperlink to it if you want, again, open it in new window. So maybe let's say we were going to link to this article. We can come back and we can link the image and save changes. And then maybe we put the title of that. And then maybe you have a description, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just have a read more. And instead of having the image linked, we link it with a button. And maybe, yeah, so if you have like a thing of events, maybe an events calendar already somewhere, that would be a good way to do that. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can play with that, Casey. You can do it as a grid. You can do it as a one-off kind of grid here. Maybe you want some of that additional text here to like put a description. But again, so when we preview this and we scroll down to the grid, so you can see there's the link. So we got hyperlinked to the image. So that's pretty clear that I can click here and go to my article. Or if I don't want it that way, I just want that to be a cool image, I can also click here and go to my article. I can also just simply hyperlink it. Maybe you put the like the name of your article in here or something, and you can click in and hyperlink it. So that's an option as well. So you'll see that there. But yeah, all kinds of great ways to do that. That's a good question.
So that's the end of this pre-recorded shorthand webinar. Thanks again for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at help@shorthand.com.